मेरा नाम मबशर लकमान है। आप देख रहे हैं प्रोग्राम खरा सच। और आज आपको मैं बताऊं कि पाकिस्तान जो है एक बड़े अहम मिशन पर निकला हुआ है, क्योंकि पाकिस्तान ईरान और सऊदी अरेबिया के दरमियान एक सालिस का रोल अदा करने का उनका मिशन है, जो बड़ा एक ऐसन मिशन है, नोबल कॉज है। अल्लाह करे कि हो जाए, क्योंकि पूरे रीजन में, पूरे मशरक वस्ता में इन दोनों ममालिक की वजह से बड़ी कशीदगी है। लेकिन साथ ही आपको पता है कि चाइना के बहुत एक अहम जो वफ्द है, उनके वजीर आजम जो हेड कर रहे हैं वो सऊदी अरेबिया गया है और वो पाकिस्तान भी आना चाहते हैं। वो ईरान वालों को भी मिलना चाह रहे हैं, क्योंकि चाइना को ये एश्योरेंस चाहिए कि अगर सी पैक ये कॉरिडोर पाकिस्तान के अंदर से जाना है तो उस पे जो सेक्टेरियन वायलेंस है पाकिस्तान के अंदर, शिया सुन्नी फसाद जो है, इसका किसी तरह खात्मा हो। अभी से थोड़ी देर पहले मेरी पाकिस्तान में नए तैनात होने वाले इस ईरान के जो सफीर हैं जनाब महदी दोस्त, उनसे मेरी गैर रस्मी मुलाकात थी। फिर मैंने उनसे रिक्वेस्ट की, थोड़ी सी बातें हमने कैमरे पे की, आपको सुनाना बहुत जरूरी है कि पाकिस्तान के साथ ईरान अपने ताल्लुकात आने वाले दिनों में किस तरह देख रहा है, और सऊदी ये जो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट है उनका पॉलिटिकल कॉन्फ्लिक्ट, उसको किस तनाजुर में देख रहा है, यमन और सीरिया के मुतालिक उनकी क्या राय है। ऑन सही हमारे ब्यूरो चीफ चैनल 24 के इस्लामाबाद में मेरे साथ हैं, बट उससे पहले His Excellency, the President, the Ambassador of Iran to Pakistan, Mr. Mehdi दोस्त, watch him. आज हम इस्लामाबाद में मौजूद हैं और मेरे साथ यहाँ पे मौजूद हैं इस्लामी जमहूरिया ईरान के एम्बेसडर सफीर जनाब महदी दोस्त। ये नए नए यहाँ पे आए हैं और इनके आते ही यहाँ पे आपने देखा कि वजीर आजम नवाज शरीफ, जनरल शरीफ, वो पहले सऊदी अरेबिया भी गए, ईरान भी गए। बट अभी यहाँ पे जब मैं बात कर रहा था, sorry ambassador, I'll talk to in English as well so that you can understand. When I was talking to the ambassador just before the interview, he is very optimistic about relations between Pakistan and Iran, and he wants to talk about the trade possibilities, and especially now the sanctions over Iran have been lifted, and according to him there's a huge opportunity for investors from both sides to develop bilateral trades. Ambassador, thank you very much for joining us at a very short notice and a request. But first of all, how do you see the visit of the Pakistan Premier, Mr. Nawaz Sharif and General Sharif to your country?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. At the first, thank you very much to you and your colleagues that come here. As I said, I should tell you in some short words that we said welcome to any diffuse of any tension in the world, and so especially in the region, in our neighbors. And so we said welcome to Mr. Prime Minister as a good friend of our country, to every time, not only this time, every time they can come to Iran, and we said welcome to any constructive proposal in all of the fields.
So you think that these visits will improve things between you and the region?
Right now the delegation is in Tehran. They are in Tehran, and we received news about what was the result. But I believe that totally in some fields that they are tackling with the Iranian side, we can have some good results, because we are in the very good term right now, the time after the removing the sanctions, and I believe that the time is proper for to activate all of the potentialities that we have, especially now in trade and commerce and business. And so we attach importance for this country, for Pakistan, and lovely people.
Ambassador, when I'm on the roads, when I'm on the streets, when I meet common people, they always ask me one question, that why the problems of the Muslim Ummah, especially Middle East, cannot be solved through dialogue. Why do armies have to be collected and of 35 countries and then make others insecure about it? What do you think is the reason for that?
That is a good question. It is better any Muslims can ask himself this question. I believe that one of the most important problems that nowadays we have is disparity between the Muslim brothers and Muslim societies. And what is the reason think that the Muslim societies in the world, they forget some principles of the Islamic principles, like as the unity among the Muslims. It is the order by the God Almighty that all of the Muslims should resort to Hablillah, and so they should be united. And maybe you can find a lot of elements, a lot of factors that make this disparity and the gap among the Muslim societies. But I think most of them are exogenous. They are not endogenous.
So, do you see any improvement in the coming years? Because Iran has faced many wars. I mean, even with Iraq for 10 years, there was a war. And then after that, there was a Persian Gulf War. I'll ask about that as well. But now, suddenly, it seems, and everyone in the Muslim Ummah is worried that, something might happen in the Middle East. Do you foresee such problems as well?
Regarding to?
Now, if a coalition army is being assembled over there, then they feel that, armies are not going to sit still.
I believe that after the removal of the sanctions that imposed to our country and for our people for many years, right now we have a lot of opportunity for more cooperation and interaction with the world and international scene, and especially with our neighbors, and top of them the Pakistani people. And I'm optimistic about that we can work together. It means that all of the Muslim societies and Asian also families, and to seize this opportunity, as the Iranian authorities mentioned after the removal of the sanctions, that this opportunity is not only for Iran but also invite and share with our neighbors and other persons. And so we believe that if some countries would like to make any coalition, it is better they comes for the coalition for peace.
But why is it that no Muslim country, including Iran, has made a coalition against Israel?
It is a good question. You can ask to some persons that they have initiated for the coalitions.
No, but I mean, as a Muslim, I want to know that. Because is Israel the bigger enemy or Iran?
It is a good question to ask them, because they started for this project, for having coalition.
Can you tell me something about Syria and what's happening over there, because we don't have first-hand knowledge?
My friend, it is absolutely clear to all of the persons and the mass media that from the beginning of the crisis in Syria, Iran took very clear stance regarding to this level of this issue. They said that any conflict in the world can come to the peace through the diplomatic dialogue. And for all of the crisis in the world, we told and we announced clearly our stance that it is better we can find a political solution for deals, because it's not proper approach by any country for any reasons attack to their neighbors, or they send military to some conflict point in the world, and so it's not proper approach to this kind of the issues. And so better the people of this region that we suffered a lot of pain because of the interference by some countries in our region, it is better they comes together. We can solve all of the matters. We have a lot of potentialities for working together, and we don't need to interfere by the superpowers in our region.
Do you see any foreseeable problems for the Muslim countries and Muslim Ummah in the future when bomb attacks, suicide attacks are going on in Paris? There are threats in London, there are threats in Germany and Europe like that. How is going to help the Muslims?
Yes. Everybody knows that these heinous deeds never and never have done by the real Muslims. Because according to the principles and all of the ayah and verses by the Holy Quran never and never invited Muslim brothers for the bloodshedding. And as you know, Islam is the religion of the peace and tranquility.
The Muslims are not peaceful, Ambassador?
Yes, they are not in the peace because we are not in good term with to each other. But something that many times the Iranian government announced that it is better that we come closely together and we can solve our problem, we can solve our conflict, we can solve our any difference or gap between two Muslim societies. And so I hope for the Syria also, not only for the Syria but the other conflicts points in the Islamic global of Islam, that all of them are solvable through the dialogues.
But tell me, the Europe attacks, how will they affect the Muslim world?
Well, you know, after that they believe that it is better that all of the societies and the countries comes to the matter that what is the main reasons of the creation terrorism. You know, if you go through and the root of the terrorism, sometimes you can find this solution that they interfere and look down of the societies by the big powers, and when they find no way, and maybe it means that terrorism and some not proper approach by some other countries to small countries, maybe they help to support to create the terrorism. And so for this regard, many times Iranian side announced that it is better that all of the big powers they take out their troops and their presence, military presence from the countries, and it is better we release the countries, they solve the rich to solution through the votes and